We are taught from birth that greatness requires a struggle. We are told that to succeed, we must fight, sweat, and conquer. We view life as a battlefield where only the most aggressive survive. But if you look at the universe, you will see a different truth, a deeper, more ancient law that governs the stars, the oceans, and the very breath in your lungs. This is the law of least effort. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. The sun does not struggle to shine, the grass does not try to grow, and the river does not fight the rocks in its path, it simply flows around them. Real power is not found in exertion, it is found in alignment. When you stop fighting the current of life and start becoming the current itself, you achieve more with less. You discover that the most profound victories are won not by the strength of your muscles, but by the clarity of your surrender. Today, we will explore how to master the art of effortless power, and why the hardest workers are often the furthest from the truth. Think of a swimmer caught in a powerful rip current. The instinctive reaction is to fight, to swim directly against the force of the water with every ounce of strength. But the more the swimmer fights, the faster they tire, and the more likely they are to drown. The master, however, knows the secret, he swims parallel to the shore. He accepts the current, he moves with it, and eventually, the water itself carries him to safety. Most people live their lives in a state of constant, exhausting combat with reality. They fight their circumstances, they fight their emotions, and they fight other people's opinions. This friction is what burns out your soul. When you apply the law of least effort, you eliminate this friction. You stop trying to force doors open and instead become the key that fits every lock. You realize that you don't need to push the world, you only need to stop resisting the natural flow of your own destiny. To be effortless is not to be lazy, it is to be so perfectly in tune with the universe that your actions become as natural as breathing. Acceptance is the first pillar of effortless power. Most of our suffering comes not from the events in our lives, but from our resistance to them. We want the sun to shine when it is raining, we want people to be different than they are, we want the past to be rewritten. This resistance is a massive leak of your vital energy. Imagine trying to stop a waterfall with your bare hands, it is exhausting and ultimately futile. When you practice the law of least effort, you start with total acceptance of this moment, exactly as it is. You say yes to the present, not because you are passive, but because you are wise enough to know that you cannot change what is already happening. This acceptance creates a sudden, profound silence in your mind. In that silence, you find the clarity to act without the fog of anger or the weight of frustration. You are no longer fighting the world, you are dancing with it. The second pillar is responsibility. But not the responsibility the world talks about, which is often just a fancy word for blame. True responsibility is the ability to have a creative response to the situation as it is now. Every problem contains the seed of an opportunity, and when you are in a state of least effort, you can see that seed growing. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this moment inviting me to become?" This shift in perspective transforms every obstacle into a stepping stone. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your own peace. When you take responsibility without blame, you reclaim the power you once gave away to your enemies. You realize that no one can disturb your inner lake unless you give them the stone to throw. Defenselessness is the third and perhaps most misunderstood pillar of this law. We spend an incredible amount of energy defending our opinions, justifying our actions, and trying to convince others that we are right. This is the ego's favorite game, and it is the most exhausting game on earth. Think about how much energy you waste in imaginary arguments in your head, or how much tension you hold in your body when you feel criticized. When you drop your defenses, you become invincible. A wall can be broken, but the wind cannot. If you have no point to prove, no one can argue with you. If you have no image to defend, no one can insult you. You become like a vast valley that receives everything and is changed by nothing. This is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength of the spirit. Nature shows us this truth every day. A rigid oak tree will snap in a powerful hurricane, but the flexible blade of grass simply bends and survives. The oak tries to resist the wind with its massive strength, but the grass survives by yielding. In your life, yield to the truth of the moment. Yield to the flow of events. By yielding, you overcome. This is the secret of the masters: they win without fighting. They achieve their goals not by pushing through walls, but by finding the gaps. When you are defenseless, you are open to the infinite intelligence of the universe. You no longer rely on your limited personal will, you tap into the cosmic will that moves the planets. You stop swimming against the tide of destiny and start being carried by it toward your highest good. Wealth and success are natural outcomes of this law, though the world will try to tell you otherwise. We are conditioned to believe that money only comes to those who grind and hustle until they are broken. But have you noticed that the most stressed people are rarely the most fulfilled? True abundance is an internal state that reflects outward. When you work with the law of least effort, your work becomes play. You do what you love, and you do it with a sense of light-heartedness. This lack of desperation is magnetic. It draws opportunities, people, and resources toward you without you having to chase them. Chasing is a sign of lack, attracting is a sign of abundance. When you are in harmony with your purpose, the universe conspires to help you in ways you could never have planned. Consider the spider weaving its web. It does not go out and hunt with the aggression of a wolf, it stays still, creates a masterpiece of geometry, and waits for the world to come to it. The web is an extension of the spider's being. Your life's work should be an extension of your being. If you are struggling too hard, you are likely off your path. The universe is trying to tell you that there is an easier way, a more elegant way. Effort is the friction created when your ego tries to do what only your soul can accomplish. Drop the effort, and let the soul take the lead. You will find that you are getting more done, but you are less tired. You are achieving greater heights, but you feel lighter. This is the hallmark of a life lived in grace. To master this law, you must practice the wisdom of uncertainty. The ego hates uncertainty, it wants to know exactly what will happen tomorrow. It wants guarantees and safety nets. But security is an illusion. The only thing that is certain in life is change. When you become comfortable with not knowing, you step into the field of all possibilities. In this field, miracles happen. You stop trying to force solutions and instead allow them to emerge. You become like a master gardener who plants the seed, waters it, and then steps back. He does not pull at the sprout to make it grow faster, he trusts the intelligence of the seed. Trust your own seed. Trust that the universe knows the way even when you don't. As you move forward today, remember, don't force, don't fight, and don't defend. Be like water. Water is the softest substance on earth, yet it can wear away the hardest rock. It does not have a plan, it simply responds to the gravity of the moment. Thank you for joining me on this 24th step of our journey. If you are ready to stop struggling and start flowing, subscribe to this channel and join our circle of seekers. Leave a comment with the word "flow" to let me know you are listening. Remember, the greatest power is the one that requires no effort at all. I am Christopher, and your journey into the ease of being begins now. Stay silent, stay light, and let the universe carry you home.